An Atlanta rapper, one of 11 people now facing federal charges connected to a trafficking ring that moved nearly 300 guns from Georgia to Pennsylvania. NBC News Justice correspondent Julia Ainsley is here now. Julia, it's wonderful to see you. Prosecutors say this was a straw purchasing scheme, that some of these guns were found at crime scenes and in the hands of convicted felons in Philadelphia. What else can you tell us about it?
It's wonderful to see you too, Allison. So a straw purchase, by and large, allows someone to have a gun if they don't want a paper trail connected to them, or if they've lost the ability to be licensed to have a gun. In other words, they're able to buy them through a third party. And the middleman in this case was an Atlanta rapper who worked with at least 10 other people, trafficking guns from Georgia to Philadelphia, where they say over 300 of these guns were found. And there could be many more still at large, say the prosecutors who filed these charges.
Our NBC affiliate in Philly spoke to the Atlanta rapper charged in this case, Fredrick Norman, a.k.a. Slowkey Fred. What did he say, and how does his story stack up against what federal agents are saying about him?
You know, it's really interesting. He said he didn't realize how serious this was. Obviously, he takes it seriously now. He was just kind of living his life, that he himself never actually went to Philadelphia, that there were two brothers on the other end who did distribute those guns. And that does stack up, according to what prosecutors said. But I also took something kind of bigger away from that. And it's part of the conversation we're having today about guns, and that he said it was so easy for him to buy these guns, especially in Georgia. He was able to go in, buy as much ammunition as he wanted without having to show a lot of ID or really be checked thoroughly in terms of how much he had previously bought, that it was just so easy. I thought that was a really interesting part of this, and gets beyond just this prosecution that we're seeing, which is a shocking case, and gets us into a national conversation about straw purchases and what can be done about them.
So, Julie, what kind of charges are we talking about here? And have the feds recovered those guns? I mean, we're talking about 300 of them. I imagine a lot of them are still on the street.
Yeah, the charges are very serious. Obviously, we know that this could be 11 to 14 people involved in this ring. Exactly how connected they were to each piece of this, that will depend on their sentencing when that finally comes. But how many of them are still at large remains to be seen. They've recovered about 300, but this is a place that's Philadelphia's seen a large spike in violent crime. And now the question is, how will they be able to cast blame? How are they going to be able to find out who used those guns in each of those crimes if they can't directly connect back the purchaser because of this straw scheme in between? And so we could see more details as this case unfolds, Allison.
All right, Julia, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.